how to improve your body composition and sleep with science-backed supplements. Today we're going to be going over the Cortisol Protocol, which has become one of the main pillars that I use to coach my executive clients to help them break fat loss plateaus, regain lost muscle definition, and also improve their energy. If you guys didn't know, cortisol is your stress hormone. And first of all, if you're wondering if you have issues with cortisol, if you feel like you store more weight around your midsection, or if you feel like sometimes the harder you work out, the worse you look, or if you're someone who has trouble sleeping, either getting to sleep or going back to sleep, or you crash in the afternoons, all of these are signs of potentially high cortisol levels. And in this training, I'm gonna show you supplement regimens that you can follow in order to treat those. If you do a quick Google search on how to lower cortisol naturally, it's gonna say things like do yoga, take a walk, indulge in fun hobbies. And while those things are nice and they may be effective if you're an executive with a high stress lifestyle, they're also not realistic. So I'm gonna cover again some helpful protocols that you can start using today. And also I'm going to tell you a little bit more about cortisol and signs of having high cortisol if that's you. Also, if you didn't know, my name is Molly Van Marth. I am an executive health and fitness coach, and on this channel I share protocols like the ones I'm going to go over today, and also a lot of other tools and strategies for, again, losing stubborn body fat and toning up even in the context of an executive lifestyle. So if those things sound applicable to you, definitely hit the subscribe button right now. Okay, so first of all, it's important to know, why do we need to care about cortisol in the first place anyway? Well, it has an effect on obviously things like your sleep, like I just mentioned, but also your body composition. And again, a lot of the people that I work with have crazy lifestyles, but they're also determined to get into better shape, and not just in better shape, not just lose weight, but actually improve their ratio of body fat to muscle, okay? So if you are that type of person, then you need to know what things could potentially have a detrimental effect on your body composition, and cortisol is one of those. Okay, so cortisol, like I said, it's the hormone that helps us regulate stress, and it also regulates other things. It has to do with your metabolism, regulates and has an impact on the inflammatory response and also immune function. And we do need it. It's a hormone that we need in our bodies. It is a steroid hormone, and we need it to be active at certain times to help us deal with stress. But when chronically elevated, cortisol makes you likely to, and this is where you need to keep an ear out if any of these are you, gain body fat, specifically around your waist. If you're someone who is wondering, can I spot lose body fat? Well, if you're talking about body fat around your waist and it comes from high cortisol, the answer is maybe so. It makes you likely to lose muscle, can have a muscle wasting effect. Not good if you're someone who wants to look more fit. Can also make you retain water. So sometimes the weight and the puffiness that comes from cortisol isn't even body fat, but actually water. You could have multiple pounds of excess water weight on your body if you have elevated cortisol levels, and that's not good, right? Makes you likely to be more inflamed. Again, this is when cortisol is chronically elevated. Feel hungrier, which can create a vicious cycle of causing you to eat more and then you gain more weight. It can make you more wired at night but tired in the morning, the opposite of what we want to happen. It can make it difficult for you to get to sleep or go back to sleep if you wake up in the middle of the night. Also, it can impact blood sugar regulation, which would also impact cravings. It would make you, if you have dysregulated blood sugar, going to be more likely to crave certain foods. And again, that has to do with energy levels too throughout the day, so not good. Also, if you have chronically elevated cortisol, you are more likely to have unbalanced estrogen and testosterone levels. And testosterone definitely impacts your overall just drive in general, and also your body composition. So again, you don't want, testosterone and cortisol are inversely related. You don't want high cortisol levels, okay? Now, where does this come from? Why do we have elevated cortisol levels in the first place? Well, there are a variety of factors that can contribute to it. Most of these I see frequently with executives. It can be anything from poor sleep to overtraining to too much cardio. Okay, especially all you guys who love to go to cardio as the first line of defense for gaining body fat, or a primary method of losing body fat. Definitely not helpful, really in general as a primary way of losing body fat, but certainly not, and can be doing way more harm than good if you have high cortisol. Also, if you have high emotional or mental stress from work or home, and pretty much just existing in life as an adult, certainly if you're an executive, you're probably going to be dealing with one or all of these, right? Now, if you have ever gotten a test done before, and maybe you're watching this thinking, well, you know, the signs are there, that's me in a nutshell, but all my tests, you know, when I get my blood drawn, apparently cortisol is fine. Cortisol, especially when using blood tests, high cortisol can be very hard to capture, especially with a blood test, because your cortisol could be elevated throughout different times in the day. And if you're just doing one blood test, you only have a snapshot in time, and you could be missing the times throughout the day where your cortisol is elevated. Okay, so if there's going to be a test that's accurate in diagnosing high cortisol, saliva tests would be better than blood tests. But also, if you are listening to these, these characteristics of having high cortisol, giving the cortisol protocol is probably worth a shot, just to see if you respond well to it. So far, all of the clients that I've put on it have responded extremely well in very notable ways. And so I certainly think following this kind of protocol is worth giving it a shot. Also, as you'll see, I'm going to talk about the supplements in this specific protocol, but a lot of them have other health benefits just besides lowering cortisol. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of this, if you do a quick Google search and look at how you can lower cortisol naturally, it will tell you useful things like do some yoga, take a walk, practice breathing, take a nap, sleep more, do restful activities or hobbies. My particular Google search said indulge in hobbies, which might sound funny if you're an executive, because you know a lot of times you guys barely have time to eat anything at the end of the day because your schedules are so packed. So, and also Google will tell you to remove stressful contributors. Okay, again, these are probably effective, nice thought, but if you're an executive or someone who lives a high stress lifestyle, it might not be possible to do all of these. Okay, so as you can guess, benefits of executing this protocol successfully are essentially the inverse of having high cortisol levels. So you would experience lower hunger in between meals, which is great, less snacking or cravings, deeper, more rested sleep. As I'll show you, some of my clients have been able to go back to sleep when before they've never been able to do that. Lower inflammation in face and body, less midsection fat, calmer mood, less anxiety, also just better mood overall. Weight loss, also cooler body temperature. That's definitely an effective lowering your cortisol, and also less soreness. So if you're someone who works out and you feel like your recovery from your workouts is just poor, it could be because of high cortisol, exercise-induced cortisol. Okay. Now we get into the good stuff. Science-backed supplements for lowering cortisol, and again, the benefit of having a supplement protocol. Now, this doesn't mean that you need a supplement for absolutely everything, but if you have an expert assess you and you can figure out what the problem is, and if you are someone who has high cortisol and you have a supplement-based protocol for that, that's amazing, especially if it's an effective protocol like I'm about to go over, because you will be able to lower cortisol without spending more time doing anything. It's just a supplement protocol. Okay, quick note here. I'm going to reference the supplements that are in the protocol that I use for my clients. However, it is so important that you are following the right setup for your unique biochemistry, because everybody is different. Everyone has responded to this protocol differently. And one of the reasons I love working with people one-on-one is because I'm able to see the effects of protocols over time and then adjust accordingly. Okay, everybody is different. I'm going to give you some general suggestions for how to use this protocol, but again, it's very important that you use the right brand of supplement. If you are getting generic brands for these supplements or the wrong brand, they might not be effective at all or could make things worse. Also important that, again, you know how to work with an expert to figure out what the right dose is for you. And yeah, just observing how you respond in general so that you can actually end up with a protocol that works for you and is effective. Okay. First one, and again, these are all well studied. Phosphatidylserine, effective in lowering cortisol, especially from exercise. Studies done on this supplement showed a lot of improvement in cortisol reduction, especially around exercise. When should you take this? You could take it in the morning or at night. If for any reason you notice any of these make you too drowsy when you take them, then you could shift them to the nighttime. Also, you know, if you are someone who drinks coffee in the morning, that would be a great, coffee can naturally increase cortisol a bit, so that would be a good time to take some of these supplements so it can, you know, counteract that effect. Ashwagandha, specifically KSM-66. This is the type of ashwagandha that was studied and proven to be effective for lowering cortisol levels. It is an adaptogen, which is, if you have any kind of autoimmune issue, adaptogens are great to be taking just for general health. And adaptogens help our bodies manage stress. Okay, that's what ashwagandha is. Also, besides lowering cortisol, has been proven to improve your mood, which is great. That's a great side effect of this supplement. And the studies specifically that were done on this showed lower cortisol definitely in the mornings, okay? And also in men, higher testosterone, which is fantastic. Again, higher testosterone and cortisol are inversely related, so that's probably where this comes from. You could take it in the morning or at night. I will actually say that I feel like this supplement for me almost gives me too much energy, so I have shifted my intake of ashwagandha to the mornings. Some people have no issues sleeping on it. Again, that's something that you'll just have to figure out for yourself. Apigenin, this is definitely one that would make you drowsy, so I would take this one about an hour before you go to sleep. Studies done on this one, they studied the cells specifically that were exposed to this. Cortisol was reduced by 47.5%, which is very significant. And then number 4, magnesium bisglycinate. There's a lot of different kinds of magnesium. Some are better for thinking and turning your brain on. Others are better for rest and recovery. This one is great to take before you sleep at night. It helps with recovery and also lowers cortisol, okay? Also lowers your blood pressure and blood sugar, which is great. Again, other fantastic side effects of these supplements. Like I mentioned, because this is really for repair and recovery, great to take at night. Okay, it can help you sleep better. And then lastly, we have fish oil. I have a note here, concentrated. If you guys are taking a cheap fish oil supplement, the actual concentration of the EPA and DHA oils within that fish oil is going to be very low. So you have to have a lot of the oil to get the actual concentration that you need of EPA and DHA. So a lot of times you might not understand what makes the difference between a high quality, more expensive fish oil and a cheaper, lower quality one. That's what it is. When you pay for a higher quality fish oil, Nordic Naturals is a great brand to use. You're able to get a higher concentration in less oil, okay? The studies that were done proved that fish oil can be effective in lowering cortisol between 19 to 33%. So that is significant. And also lots of heart health benefits. So if you're someone who cares about heart health, great supplement to take, even if you don't care about cortisol. You could take it either in the morning or at night, doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your being, super awake or falling asleep. Whatever fish oil you take, probably going to need at least 3 to 5 grams a day minimum. As far as the concentration of EPA to DHA, you need at least a gram of those combined minimum. Okay, studies showed that the people who got 33% cortisol reduction were taking more than the people who got 19%. So more is probably better there. Just to show you guys an example of what it looks like when you use this protocol correctly. Again, all of these clients have their specific amounts of each supplement to take dialed in. We've tweaked things to get it to work for them, but this is one of my clients, Steve. He's a Morgan Stanley executive, really busy guy, travels all the time. I mean, constantly having business dinners, he's on the go. And introducing the cortisol protocol, we sped his weight loss up. He was already losing weight at consistently half a pound per week, but it sped it up to over a pound per week just by introducing the protocol, okay? And again, he is taking phosphatidylserine. That's one of the supplements we went over. We were able to tweak it to help it work better for him, okay? So he's been on it for 4 days, sped up his weight loss a lot. This is another client of mine. He is an ICU doctor. And he was, when I first started working with him, he was sleeping normally 3 hours per night. After starting the cortisol protocol, slowly but surely, he's getting more sleep. So now he's sleeping over 5 hours every single night since starting the protocol consistently, okay? This is another one of my clients. He is a cybersecurity president. And he is noticing weight loss. First of all, weight loss even after going out to dinner. So this is one of the benefits of it. And also, again, being able to go back to sleep, which typically doesn't happen for him, okay? So again, if you're someone who is short on time, if you're someone who feels like you're feeling the effects of elevated cortisol, this is absolutely something that is worth trying. It's definitely something that will impact your body composition. And yeah, I suggest that you try this protocol. If you do and it's successful for you or you notice any improvements, I would love to hear it in the comments below. and I'll be back on here with more strategies like this soon.